Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third and final panel discussion of Road Qatar 2021. My name is Bassam Al-Mannai, and I am the Executive Real Estate Director at QDB, and I'll be moderating today's session entitled The Role of Omnichannel Experiences in a Digitized Consumer Economy. Helping me navigate today's discussion with me are Mr. Ashish Sinha, early stage startup lead at Amazon Web Services for the MENA region. Also, Mr. Rostislav Duke, chairman of the board of directors at the Ukrainian Association of Fintech Innovation Companies, and Mr. Hamad Al-Naimi, investor relations manager at the Investment Promotion Agency, Qatar. Thank you all for joining us today and bringing your expertise to the conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, through unique insights and perspectives of our panelists, we will be exploring the crucial role of omni-channel experiences in meeting the expectation of today's digitally savvy consumers. So, begin the conversation with Mr. Ashish. But before I start my first question to you, Mr. Ashish, could you please, for those of us who don't know, just give us a very quick brief on what is actually an omni-channel experience, because many of our viewers may not be able to know what it is.
Got it. That's a great question, actually, Wissam. Omni-channel, in a very simple term, can be defined as a 360-degree approach to capture the audience attention, irrespective of the point of purchase. Say, for example, me as a big brand, if my point of sale is an offline retail shop, and to complement that, if I also have an online store, if I have somehow comprehensively created an ecosystem wherein a consumer can come in at any place, at any time, and will have the same experience, that can be devised or said as an omni-channel strategy, which means oblivious of the channel, the experience for the end customer, who are gods, definitely should remain the same.
Thank you. That's great, and actually, it's quite informative even for me. So we'll start today's the first question to you, Mr. Ashish, is what do you think has changed for today's consumer and their expectation as a result of the dominance of digital technologies?
Yeah, so definitely this new era in which we are living right now have increased the customer's expectation and getting whatever they wish for delivered in the fashion they want. And that has not only created a little bit of pressure on the brand, but have also resulted in a better technology which may support this ask from the customer. Just taking an example, earlier, I was happy with, say, 2-hour or 4-hour delivery for my grocery item back in Dubai. However, now with COVID, I am sitting at home. I want my items now. I want the right items delivered at my doorstep within 30 minutes. I want the same experience which I had while shopping in a retail store. I was able to browse through a number of assortment which were kind of semi-personalized for me. If I go to, say, for example, an Indian section and can find the right set of assortment for the grocery item for me, if the same thing is not applicable over here on the online platform, that would be a frustrating point for me. And then I may switch the platform. So the customer has become more demanding, and the companies are also accommodating and rushing towards to solve for this bigger problem.
Okay, so in terms of that and in light of that as a development, this question is to you, Mr. Rostislav. Is omnichannel still a luxury for entrepreneurs today or in this rapidly changing scenario, or is it actually becoming a must for survival, and why?
So in real world, we have the situation that it's not a choice at the moment. So you should be omni-channel if you want to be in business. And we have a couple of reasons why. So first of all, we have changing of different like customer segment and new segment like millennials, Z population, etc. They just teach it by big brands like Facebook, Amazon, Google. Just if you need something, you can do it immediately and you can check online the situation, what's happened. So this is like first reason. Second reason, the situation which brings the pandemic bootstraps this, and we have that new trend with Encom when you can buy online but pick up and store, or the delivery will bring it. So you need to have chance to track the delivery, track the payment, and it's teach people this omni-channel philosophy. So it start to be like normal delivery, not only for digital first, but also for physical first brands. And it's both for big corporation and for small, medium enterprise. It's also give you a chance to do the personalization of what you offer to your customer. And customer love it. And the latest research done by McKinsey shows that if you propose your services or go through the omni-channel strategy, the customers spend like 30% more in these cases. So it makes like a big sense, like business sense. And also the ecosystems that we can observe around the globe just are ready for this omni-channel strategy. So I think it's like should be. It's not only a question at the moment.
Okay, so it's not really a luxury, and customers have come to expect it. So this is a question actually for all panelists. Is omni-channel reserved for digital natives, or is it equally beneficial for physical businesses and those with hybrid offerings, and how so?
I can start. So as I mentioned, so it's both for different population, because in omni-channel strategy, consumers spend more, and it doesn't matter to what digital native segment or not digital native segment your person belong. And so this is first. The second one, personalization. So everybody likes like personal proposal or personal discount. So I think it doesn't matter. So digital net or no.
Okay, so this question is for Mr. Hamad. From your experience working with investors and facilitating business partnerships, have you seen more business considering or planning establishing an e-commerce business in Qatar?
Yes, actually, we've seen a lot of surge and demand for establishing e-business companies in Qatar, and this is mainly because of the strategic location that Qatar brings and the connectivity that Qatar brings to any business that wants to establish an e-commerce. Having a base in Qatar, you're very well connected, and you have a central location between the east and west, south and north. So it's very easy if you are an e-commerce business to establish in Qatar, service the regional market, but also service the global market. For example, if you are an e-commerce player today in Qatar and you want to ship one of your products to a customer in Brazil, you can do that in less than 24 hours via direct flight. That potential of Qatar Airways cargo and the fleet that they have is enormous, and this is one of the reasons that we've seen this interest from e-commerce businesses.
Okay, so aside from what you've mentioned already, do you see any other reasons or factors that could make Qatar a prime location for investors and entrepreneurs who are interested in the digital economy?
Yes. Well, to be honest, to look at the macro factors and the initial reasons of why would companies establish in Qatar, I think Qatar provides a very favorable business climate for companies who want to invest in Qatar. Some of these like favorable elements, I would say, is the possibility to have a full ownership of for a foreigner to own like 100% of shares in a company, which is something that's quite new in Qatar since a few years ago. And also the integration that Qatar has with the global economy. I think these are some of the factors that play a role. More specifically for digital businesses, I would think that the 5G network that Qatar has reflects the commitment that Qatar has towards digital businesses and helping them grow globally from Qatar. So I think yes.
Okay. Mr. Ashish, this question is for you. How can an omni-channel experience favor or give a particular company or brand right now an advantage over others? Because sometimes it may seem that most of the innovation have already been done or implemented.
So I would take a contrarian view over here. I firmly believe that the retail industry, which have developed over a period of time, they definitely have at least 5 benefits over an digital native e-commerce platform, which can be provided to the end customer and make that journey much more successful. The first and foremost is the visual merchandising piece. Take an example of any luxury or even a fashion retailer. In case you go to a shop, you feel like buying that thing, but go to any of the e-commerce website and try to buy even a simple jeans or a simple t-shirt for yourself. It seems like that the e-commerce, the current digital native e-commerce companies, they are much more focused on assortment, not more about what is right for you. However, if I go to a physical store, that experience I cannot forget. I will definitely go and buy because of the better personalized, I would rather say a little bit personalized, but a kind of an experience which I had over there. So if a existing retail can mimic their experience, what they are providing to the customer in the retail store, back there in online, definitely that would be merging of these two. The second important point, which is there is access to a community. Right now, if I go and purchase anything on e-commerce, I'm going blindly by just buying something for the cheaper price or faster delivery or better assortment. These are the 3 key aspects for me to choose an e-commerce platform. Either an assortment is wide, or the price is low, or basically it can get delivered faster to me. However, I do not get an access to a community. The brand ecosystem, which gives me the access to the new experience or say content or even other like-minded users, I don't feel that in the digital native e-commerce one. So definitely the traditional retail startups or the existing companies, if they move into this omni-channel game and they've, I would rather say, balance between the two, definitely this is one good point over any other digital native business. Third is basically the loyalty. Now think about it. I do not have a loyalty card for say even big e-commerce player of the globe, right? They do not reward me for continuing the purchase from them, and hence I also feel somehow disconnected. I will only be transactory in nature while I'm doing my transaction, my purchase on that e-commerce platform. However, in the retail scenario, say for example, just taking an example of Starbucks, if I buy 10, I'll get 11 free. That will prompt me to buy the 8th one, the 9th one, and eventually the 10th one, right? So this kind of a loyalty or basically the gamification is not there at all. Fourth is basically the tailored offer. If I want to have anything, say monogram for me or any tailored offer, even for let's say a shirt, a monogram t-shirt or a shirt or any specific thing for me, I don't find that in the current existing e-commerce platforms. It's more of, let's say everybody will get the same offering, right? However, if done right by the retail team, definitely that would be an added advantage once again, if the omni-channel platform is created seamlessly. And fifth, and not the least, would be the overall 360-degree offer. See, think about it. If I have a place to buy, say, for example, I bought from a retail shop and then I returned it using an app and then basically recollected it from, again, another shop in my locality, I have a 360-degree offer wherein I, as a consumer, is getting benefited from wherever I am. If I'm on my phone, I can return it or buy it. If I'm near the store, I can again return it or buy it. So this gives me a wholesome degree of freedom, which is not done by the existing native business of e-commerce. So retail having these 5 experiences, if they come on the Omni-Channel platform, seamlessly integrate between these two, definitely they have an added advantage. Sorry, I've taken your question in a little different way and have answered like that.
No, that's fine. And I especially the point about the seamless integration between all of them seems natural even to Omni-Channel because of even the foundation of what an Omni-Channel really seems to be. So this question is actually for all panelists. How can an enterprise, a company, decide if Omni-Channel is actually right for it? And the right way to go in terms of attracting and servicing current customers?
I think I would say it depends on the nature of the business and what your offering is. So for example, in the case of a retail shop, when you buy something and you want to return, and you have access directly on your app to request like a pickup where they can pick up from your own location, have it shipped, exchanged and returned. This is a case where an Omni-Channel would be applicable. But I assume, for example, for a supermarket, for like an average, a local supermarket in your neighborhood, I don't think that an Omni-Channel would be the best option, solution for them to use, especially with the cost that they would have to endure in opting for an Omni-Channel strategy. But I may be a traditionalist in my view as well.
Mr. Ashish, do you agree with that?
Again, I have a contrarian view. I'm coming from a technology company, and hence I would rather say that everybody should have an omni-channel strategy. Definitely, there are few industries or few verticals which needs to over-index on that. However, few of them can even under-index on them. However, the core point is everybody should be having an omni-channel strategy because the new consumers, their point of purchase is changing. Their interaction place with the brand, with the retail products are changing. The way they interact and socialize the product within themselves, even on say TikTok or even say on Instagram, how they promote your own products is very different now. So definitely the omni-channel needs to be in the strategy book of every retailer, though they may over-index some place on marketing, some place on delivery, some place on pricing, some place on brand loyalty, some place on customer centricity, but everybody should be doing it.
Right. Mr. Rostaslev, what upgrades need to happen to a company's culture in order for it to be able to transition to an omni-channel strategy successfully, in your view?
It's a great question because, we have a proverb that, culture eats strategy at the breakfast. I think we should start from just understanding the consumer journey, yes? When you understand how consumer comes to your brand, how it's interact with your brand, you can choose the better content, the better way them to propose. This is first. Second one, it's like it should be like philosophy. And second, very important, especially in digital channels, consumer generate a lot of data. So companies should be data-centric and customer-centric. So it should be like philosophy and culture things, and just dig in this data. You bring some insights and you can use these insights to build your omni-channel strategy with consumer. And also the third one, a lot of companies start to think about the ecosystem way and metaverse way. So we know that Facebook announced that they will build the metaverse. After Facebook, a lot of brands say, okay, we will also build the metaverse. And this philosophy, it can be multi-channel. So in metaverse, it's all omni-channel, because if you put your consumer inside this metaverse philosophy, it could be only omni-channel way, and it will be based on two like pillars. So first is data-centric and other is consumer-centric.
Okay, thank you for that. And Mr. Ashish, this question is for you. Should an omni-channel strategy, in your view, be executed in-house or outsourced outsource to a provider, and why?
Over here, I have a little different view. What I believe is definitely, as Mr. Rustala was also saying, that the overall importance should be given on people, on the culture, and not on the strategy. So first we have to see whether the entire organization, whosoever is trying to undergo through this omni-channel transformation, whether people and the culture is ready yet to at least have a first level of, I would rather say, engagement, which is significant coordination among the different sales team, say store sales, store marketing, and e-commerce sales and e-commerce marketing. If they are not aligned yet, or they don't have the team yet, please outsource it to a third party so that at least this base layer can be built. Once the base layer is built, wherein you at least have a strong e-commerce side, you have a cross-channel store and supply chain, you have at least the base data and analytics sets, you have the content management piece set, you have the channel ideation piece set, and you have, let's say, the initial seed of coordination set among the respective teams within the company. Once this seed is set, and once people recognize that, yes, this is the way forward, and we have to shake hands together across different teams to make this a success, then make it in-house. Why in-house? Is the simple reason that your company's strategy would be best understood by you. The kind of data and analytics which would be used, you can mention it to someone, but in case you do not own them, does not make sense. If you do not have the right supply chain for your products delivered, it does not make sense. If you do not have a controlled, I would rather say, sorry, not to use the word control, but have a robust app user base, not focused by you, again, does not make sense. So all I'm trying to mention is definitely towards the journey, in the initial first 2 steps, outsourcing is important and advisable, but over a period of time, once the seeds are set and the base layer is created, please have an in-house team.
Right, so the outsourcing happens at the beginning when you're trying to start a foundation, and then once you've built the base, then you actually, to better execute your strategy, it's better to have it in-house. And I think that makes a whole lot of sense, actually, from what I'm even exposed to. So this question is more to you, Mr. Hamad. Do they create new opportunities for investors? I mean, omni-channels, do they create new opportunities for investors, and that otherwise will not be available to them? And how so?
Yes, I think with the recent shift and the growing demand for opting to use omni-channel marketing, we've seen a surge in demand for service providers who provide, strategies on omni-channel and help companies build their omni-channel strategies in terms of a strategy and also in terms of technical build that is required for their infrastructure. And I think, yes, these developments, they do create a market for investors, especially for smaller startups. We're seeing a lot of innovation around omni-channel use and adopting technologies for omni-channel within companies globally. So I think that the space is huge, and there is a share for any startup who wants to start his own company, and investors can invest with the startups in developing these solutions.
Okay. Mr. Rostaslav, most of the time smaller companies and SMEs, because of their smaller size, have the ability to be a bit more agile and have more agility. Do you think this presents them an opportunity to test their strategies or some kind of new innovations in front of bigger market players?
Okay, so in new worlds that we have after this pandemic, I think agility should be the main assets, yes, and like philosophy. So, and in this case, small enterprises have more flexibility than big corporation, and how to use this agility. I think a couple like philosophical changes should be. So first one, Everybody should do this shift from like customer relation management to analytical customer relation management. So this is like first one. Second one, from capex to opex. So the main assets not to buy something and put it on your balance sheet. So the main assets in like tomorrow and today days, you will have your consumers, what you know about your consumers, how you can improve the experience with your company, and all knowledge about this. So I think the main philosophy also will use different services, not buying them like license and build this company competence inside your company. Especially it's important for small medium enterprise, because sometimes they don't have enough people to learn and employ some technology, but use different, especially startups who propose some like services on service-based platform. For example, like banking as a service, e-commerce as a service, delivery as a service, and it's give you more flexibility to change if something is changing, especially how we see in COVID situation. In Ukraine, for example, people don't use door-to-door delivery, so it was like cultural thing. You go to restaurant, you go to shop, or you order something that logistic company will bring you, but this quick delivery wasn't exist. And when the pandemic just make lockdown, so people need to have something quickly, but they can't go to shop. So new type of delivery channel just start, like quick delivery, like Glovo, Uber delivery for small purchases. And this small enterprise who was more agile and just launch this delivery quickly have more sales, more audience, etc. So it means that first, you should be more focused for different opportunities. Second one, try to use as a service philosophy, not buying the license or product on your balance. And just third one, I'll just double say it, just look for different new opportunities in terms of channels. You should add more channels as you can, just calculate and measure how consumer use it, choose the best one, and just propose the best one for your consumer.
Okay, so in terms of the success factors and what should be the major objective when making a transition to Omni-Channel, Mr. Ashish, what are the major success factors to make this transition?
If I understand this correctly, are we talking about the key metrics of the success parameters, or just at a 100 feet, what should be there overall?
I would say 100 feet, as you say, or strategic level.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so at a strategic level, how I would look at the success parameter is to ensure we have at least the top 5 pillars in place. The first and foremost, as we were mentioning earlier, that it should start and end with people and processes. So people will make processes. So first and foremost is, if the people are aligned, there are cross-functional team which have set KPIs, and they progress from having 2 different channels and then eventually merging into a mega organization which is agnostic of the channel, that makes a success parameter. So the people, strategy, and processes to enable this transition from a 2 singular team into a mega channel agnostic team becomes the top most important thing. Second is their tech stack, especially on the UX part, which is the user experience part, which essentially means that how exactly their e-commerce website is being built, what are the experience a customer is gaining over there, and how exactly an app is being built, whether that is being shown on a mobile or a tablet, or even with, let's say, VR, AR coming in, how exactly these all experiences, the user experiences, is integrated together through the site, through the website or app, or even VRs. Now, this also have a journey. The journey is basically, initially, it would be the platform would be just an assortment of products. But later on, it needs to have incorporating all the other elements which we were talking about earlier, community building, 360-degree support, let's say the omni-channel true experience wherein I can return here, pick there, whatever I want to do, and ability to do basically the testings on different set of customers across any content provider. If I'm able to get the content either from a video platform or from a text platform or from an imagery platform, I can basically be able to do that. So a strong UX becomes the second pillar. Third pillar becomes I would rather say the delivery experience. I would rather say the supply chain bit of it. So how exactly the inventory is being managed specifically for e-commerce and then for stores. How exactly it is optimized for cost, for speed, for experience. How quickly can the product be delivered if it is in retail at one location? How exactly the experience change if the same product is ordered, say, 20 kilometers away from that location. So this becomes the third parameter. Fourth is the usage of data. How exactly are you collecting the information? What is happening in your retail business? What is happening on your platform? How are you able to integrate and create a more analytical scenario to be presented to the right set of people who can analyze it and can then recommend the next best customer experience is what is most important. And fifth, and the last is basically the readiness for change. If COVID has happened this time, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, we do not know what will happen. So a mindset of quickly shifting according to changing environment is the fifth part.
Well, definitely, it seems an emerging theme that has been discussed today is the impact of COVID and the how it changed the landscape. Mr. Rostaslav was mentioning it earlier. Mr. Rostaslav, you were talking to us about agility and the ability to meet customers' needs earlier. Today, does Omni-Channel stop with the delivery of the product, or does it go beyond this?
I think Omni-Channel go beyond the delivery, because it's not only about the delivery, it's also about tracking where is your product, what's happening with your payment, or you need some like fiscal documents. So it's more about like have feedback on some question how to use a product or services. So Omni-Channel, it's even more than delivery. It's now start to be like part of philosophy, part of customer-centric philosophy. It's like my thoughts.
I see. So the experience becomes an overall experience from start to finish and even after to finish. Mr. Hamad, closer to home, and really a question about entrepreneurs interested in opening who are looking to open and set up a digital e-commerce business or platform in Qatar. How can they get started, and what kind of infrastructure and services is available for them right now?
Right. In terms of how can they get started, they can approach the investment promotion agency through our new website, which we've recently launched, www.invest.qa. They can reach out to us. The typical process would be we'll get in touch with them, we'll understand more about their business and what can we do with them to ensure that they have an establishment in Qatar that is sustainable and something that is for the long term and scalable. That would be, I think, the first step. And then following that, we can introduce them to one of our licensing platforms in Qatar, which we have 4 licensing platforms that any company can establish in and begins operation. These are the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Qatar Financial Center, Qatar Free Zones Authority, and also Qatar Science and Technology Park, all of which provides a licensing solution for companies who want to establish in Qatar. And in terms of the infrastructure that is available for them, I think I've mentioned this earlier, Qatar has a very strong digital infrastructure, connectivity in terms of having a 5G network. I think one of the elements that also matters is the internet penetration with the community in Qatar, where it is about 99% in terms of internet penetration. In addition to the cloud infrastructure that Qatar has for e-commerce or for digital businesses in general that they can use, we have Microsoft cloud services in Qatar where they have a data center We also have Google Cloud, who just started operations in Qatar. So you see that Qatar brings a holistic experience. We have the infrastructure that is ready, the digital network, and we hope to see more businesses operating.
So do companies actually have to be set up here before they approach you, or could they approach you even before they're even set up?
No, we start with them from the initial idea to invest in Qatar. So it can be just an initial idea, someone who doesn't know much about Qatar but has the urge to start exploring. We explore with them, we kind of provide all the information that they're looking for. We provide strategic introductions to any potential partner in Qatar that may work with the company. And then we sort of handhold them until they establish in Qatar.
Okay, thank you. That's great. I just have one final question. Mr. Ashish, if you could please take it, I would appreciate it very much. And it is really about the top trends or the most influential trends in the SME that SMEs should consider when planning an omni-channel strategy. What do you think today is the most important trends and what should be considered?
What I'm seeing in the ecosystem is the way the people or the consumer interact with the brand is changing. Earlier, it was more of a possessive nature that I have this brand and I want to flaunt it, or I want to basically buy this. Now it is more about how exactly this is tying up to my lifestyle, how exactly this is integral part of the lifestyle, and how easily it can be, let's say, accessed by me as a consumer. Second trend which I'm seeing over here is definitely that importance of data has been realized by everyone. Even in the traditional retail industry, people have started using data like anything, and they are getting the benefit to the top, right? And hence, this changing trend would definitely change the way people not only collect the data, perceive the data, interpret the data, and use the data. It's not about getting the personal information. It's not a attack on somebody else's privacy, but it's just to ensure that the right personalization, the right set of experience can be provided. Third is I would rather say, the easiness with which the new technology is being adopted by anyone and everyone is the new trend. So as it was mentioned earlier in the conversation that now Facebook has at least announced about their metaverse. Similarly, few months back, what I could see is there were so many brands, so many retail brands, by the way, coming on TikTok and trying to basically engage with the audience over there. Similarly, there are platforms which were digital native, but now is flooded with the retail offerings as well. So all I'm saying is basically the learning curve is now growing at a very rapid pace. Now it is shaping up as a J curve, wherein the growth is definitely there and people are adopting it like anything. So these would be the top three trends.
And with that, I'd like to wrap up today's discussion and thank everyone, Mr. Ashish, Mr. Ostaslev, Mr. Hamad, and our viewers. Thank you so much for tonight's discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you.